mic on? Oh, yeah, okay. Good afternoon and welcome. Thank you. Good afternoon and welcome. All right, now we're ready. I am Psyche Williams-Forson, Chair of the Department of American Studies. And first and foremost, I want to welcome all of you, and then also to congratulate you all for making it to the end of one journey and the beginning of another. Yay. In addition to thanking all of those who helped you on your journey, all of the family, real and fictive kin, friends, partners, lovers, whomever. We also want to thank the faculty and staff who helped to get you to graduation today. Your graduate, to those of you who helped the one who is graduating, is leaving us with a greater knowledge of the world than when they entered. We have prepared them to think critically about the world through lenses of gender, race, ethnicity, socioeconomics, sexuality, region, and more. They have been exposed to cutting-edge technologies, digital literacy, AI scrutiny, research, and public presentation, and have developed some measure of leadership skills along the way. We have even tried to instill in them a keen sense of personal awareness. So join me, please, in thanking the faculty who have helped your graduate to think about the world in ways they never perhaps have before. So as I call your name for the Faculty of American Studies, if you would stand, Dr. Asim Ali. Dr. Robert Chester. You all can you hear me? Dr. Jason Farman, you can stand. Dr. Eva Hageman. Dr. Lamar Bruce. Dr. Christina Hanhart. Dr. Bailey Marquez. Dr. Nancy Mirabal. And though absent here today, but nonetheless with us, Dr. Perla Guerrero, Dr. Janelle Wong, Dr. Susan Promschufer, and Dr. Mary Cease, who is our emerita. And Dr. Jamila Moore-Pugh. Awesome. And now I'd like to bring to the podium to deliver welcome remarks from the College of Arts and Humanities, Professor Trevor Giles, who is professor in the School of Communication and also Associate Dean in the College of Arts and Humanities of Faculty Affairs and Research. And I know I botched that, but you know who I'm talking about.
Good afternoon again. On behalf of the College of Arts and Humanities at the University of Maryland and our Dean, Stephanie Shonikan, it is my great pleasure to welcome you today to the annual joint commencement ceremony of the Department of American Studies and the Harriet Tubman Department of Women, Gender, and Sexuality Studies. This is a wonderful opportunity to celebrate the achievements of our graduates, to reflect on all they've accomplished over their time at Maryland, and to express all manner of gratitude to their family and friends for making this day possible. The mission and purpose of the College of Arts and Humanities at the University of Maryland is fundamentally to raise our collective understanding of the human condition at this critical time. As we face major challenges to peace, democracy, environmental security, and human rights, our mission in RHU speaks to the urgency of this moment. Our work is both timely and timeless. Timely because we see what's going on in our society right now. Timeless because this has happened before and it will happen again. We teach, study, perform, and research the complexity of lived experiences. We recognize through our work that humans intrinsically seek meaning, connection, beauty, justice, and freedom. We help UMD students define and refine their values, beliefs, and sense of purpose, as well as to discover the kind of global citizen that they want to be. We aspire to be the college where anyone and everyone can learn, work, and produce scholarship and art in a climate that is conducive to every identity, learning style, and cultural background. In RHU, we are immensely proud of our Department of American Studies and the Harriet Tubman Department of Women, Gender, and Sexuality Studies. The faculty in these departments produce truly cutting-edge research, teach mightily and compassionately, and contribute powerfully to the success and progress of the University of Maryland. The students in these departments are leaders on campus and activists in society. They pursue their studies with aplomb and with deep commitment and purpose. I count myself quite fortunate to work, learn, study, and teach alongside these fine scholars, meaningful teachers, and outstanding students. The state of Maryland and the University of Maryland are indeed better off for their labors and their relentless pursuit of justice and equity. Exemplifying true values-based leadership and all manner of fairness, equity, and justice are two of our colleagues who are moving on to different stages of their academic journeys. For nearly 10 years, Professor Psyche Williams-Forson has chaired the Department of American Studies. She has done so successfully and with great care and skill. Through her efforts and leadership, the Department of American Studies has maintained and solidified its place as among the most venerable and prominent programs in American studies in the nation. As she transitions back to the faculty, we will all miss Psyche's leadership in the department and in the college, with her deep sense of purpose and commitment, her kindness and innate fairness, and her amazing sense of humor and perspective. And for over 30 years, Professor Bonnie Thornton Dill has been on the faculty of the Tubman Department of Women, Gender, and Sexuality Studies, serving as chair of that department for 8 years, and then as dean of the College of Arts and Humanities for 11 distinguished years. Dean Thornton Dill has truly been an inspiration and a model of collegiality and leadership for so many of us. The eminence of her scholarship and her truly tremendous influence on the University of Maryland is remarkable, indeed extraordinary. She personifies the guiding principles of the University of Maryland. Her work is driven by a quest for values-based excellence. It advances proudly and boldly the university's commitments to diversity, inclusion, equity, and access. Her entire career has evidenced both impact and innovation at every turn. She is entirely generous and collaborative, and in the end, her work and life contributes mightily to the public good and to the advancement of humanity. So please join me in congratulating Professor Williams-Forson and Dean Thornton Dill as they transition to the next stages of their remarkable careers. Once again, please accept all of our congratulations and commendations from the College of Arts and Humanities. To the graduates, we are all so impressed with everything you've accomplished and so proud of your achievements that we celebrate today. We send you off with all of our best wishes and sincere hopes for your personal and professional success and happiness. Please don't forget about us. Be good alums of your departments, the college, and the university, and as always, don't forget, go Terps.
Just before Dr. Nada Atanasaski comes to the stage, who's the chair of the Harriet Tubman Department of Women, Gender, Sexuality Studies. I wanted to also thank our staff in American Studies, without whom we would not be here as efficiently as we are. So please give a round of applause to Jennifer Smith and Stephanie Smith, to An Duong, and to Alexandra? Alexa. What's your last name, Alexa? There you go, you heard it. Thank you very much.
Welcome, everybody, once again to the Department of American Studies and the Harriet Tubman Department of Women, Gender, and Sexuality Studies Spring 2025 Commencement. My name is Nada Atanasaski, and I am the chair of the Harriet Tubman Department of Women, Gender, and Sexuality Studies, joining my colleagues Dr. Psyche Williams-Forson and Dean Trevor Perry-Giles in extending a heartfelt congratulations on all of your accomplishments and achievements, class of 2025. Although you are all graduating in times of great uncertainty, as you leave the University of Maryland, I hope you continue to take inspiration from our department's namesake, Harriet Tubman. Today, as we gather to celebrate your graduation, we also commemorate the 5th anniversary of our department's renaming in honor of Tubman. Tubman's unwavering courage and commitment to the freedom of not just herself, but of others in the face of oppression inspire the very core of our mission, guiding the transformative thinking and passion for social justice you have cultivated throughout your studies. During your time as students at the University of Maryland, your WGSS professors have taught you to connect histories of social movements, theories of intersectionality and liberation, and creative work and practice to think differently about the world we live in, and the one that we might want to create. These insights and skills will serve you well as you advance to postgraduate studies, professional roles, and community engagement. Wherever your next journey may take you, I hope you will continue to imagine and spark change and confront injustice and oppression. As WGSS students, you've engaged deeply with theories and methods from Indigenous studies, Black feminist thought, disability studies, trans studies, queer studies, and media and digital studies. You have courageously tackled complex issues such as militarized violence, genocide, health equity, reproductive justice, architectural design, migrant rights, and structural racism. Now more than ever, amidst global crises rooted in political and state violence, let the values and skills you have acquired here guide you in facing future challenges and opportunities. So with me today, representing the WGSS faculty, and please stand when I call your name, are Dr. Neil Ahuja, Dr. Shayan Bhattacharya, Dr. Eva Hageman, Dr. Sydney Lewis, Dr. Alexis Lothian, Dr. Will Mosley, Dr. Michelle Rowley, and Dr. Ruth Enid Zambrana. Additionally, I'd like to thank faculty who couldn't be here today, including Drs. Elsa Barkley Brown, Bonnie Thornton Dill, Zenzila Isuke, Jessica Lee Mathiasen, and Shelby Nahuilat Meisner, as well as the WGSS staff who are here, Elise Madison Smith, Gwen Warman, Isata Munu, and Jane Baitwa Kumahendo. Congratulations, everybody.
Okay, I would now like to welcome to the podium Dr. Asim Ali, Senior Lecturer and Director of Undergraduate Studies for the Department of American Studies, who will be introducing our undergraduate speaker this afternoon.
Thank you, Dr. Williams-Forson. Thank you, Dr. Tanasowski. It's my great pleasure today to introduce our undergraduate student speaker, Sophie Garcia. Sophie's graduating with a Bachelor of Arts degree in American Studies as well as a BA in Public Policy. During her time here at the University of Maryland, Sophie's compiled an impressive list of honors and achievements. Among them are that she received academic honors, she made the Dean's List, every single semester that she's been here. She completed the First Year Innovation and Research Experience, or FIRE, program. She was a Maryland Fellow in Political Engagement and Advocacy. She was an intern at the National Labor Relations Board. She was an assistant researcher as well as a teaching assistant in the School of Public Policy. She was a summer intern at Unite Here Local 25, and most recently, Sophie completed a brilliant senior thesis entitled Suburbs and Stuff, Unpacking the Symbiosis of Consumerism and Sprawl. In studying American culture and public policy here at Maryland, Sophie's given a great deal of thought to what it means to live and learn in troubled times. And as students across the nation are being censored, suspended, defamed, attacked, or jailed just for using their First Amendment rights, it would seem that times are indeed troubled. Nonetheless, the purpose of a university education hasn't changed. It's to develop the skills, the ability, the intellect to legitimately and ethically govern one's own society. Sophie reminds us today that to put this education into practice, to effect change for the betterment of this world, requires both a commitment to the truth, even if it's an unpleasant or unorthodox truth, as well as the courage to have hope in troubled times. Sophie Garcia.
Thank you, Dr. Ali. Hello, everyone. I know I'm no Kermit, but I'm so grateful to have been given the chance to speak today. It's hard for me to put into words what the American Studies Department means to me, but I'll try by sharing the most powerful lesson I've learned outside the classroom. It feels like we're entering into the world right at the moment it begins to slip into fascism. And as selfish as it sounds, it feels unfair. I've just spent 4 years earning a degree in public policy and American studies, only to find that the government sees my education as a threat, that the funding I wanted to receive doesn't exist, that the programs I wanted to work for don't exist. And it feels so easy to resort to fatalism. In the short term, it might even make me feel good. I can almost let go and accept that fate. But what's so much more difficult is having hope. And before I go on, let me apologize. I know a speech about hope is incredibly cliche. However, I learned this advice way too late in life, and it's too important to me to go unnoticed by anyone else. The past few months, really the past few years, but there's been a recent acceleration, have felt like the world is crumbling. But I want to remind everyone, there's no such thing as too far gone. Jeffrey Stout, a theorist of American democracy, says that hope is not a mood, it's a virtue. And it's something you cultivate, and not easily. There's so much unnecessary suffering in our world, and it's hard to blame anyone for being a cynic. But people who insist that things won't change are really just hiding behind words like rational and pragmatic to avoid inaction. The solutions that seem so obvious to me and my peers are labeled as naive or radical. But how is it that criticizing my own government or university for supporting genocide is radical? That saying free Palestine is too provocative? That in order to resist authoritarianism, I have to find that in order to resist authoritarianism, I have to find common ground with fascists. Words like radical and naive, or my personal favorite, realistic, are used to skew the truth. The people who use these excuses are either too scared or just don't care enough to disrupt the status quo. I've been told I'm naive and radical too many times to count, by professors, by family, even by friends. But what I've realized, with the help of the American Studies department, is that that framework is just lazy. Settling for weak policy and political inactivity is so easy. A little more friendly debate, a little bit more partisanship. Surely, if we all hold hands, a solution must present itself. But the hard truth is that I've often been told maybe in a perfect world we could do more, but the hard truth is that anything past moderation or centrism is just not realistic. And what frustrates me the most about this type of dismissal, past the cowardice and patronization, is the way that people create these realities for themselves, like lenses that they can see the world through, and then they forget that these realities are just their own constructions. A better world isn't possible? Says who? My brilliant classmate, Kat Ackerman, brought to my attention a quote from Toni Morrison, who puts my point much more eloquently. She says, "Imagine, envision what it would be like to know that your comfort, your fun, your safety are not dependent on the deprivation of another." Having faith that a more just world is possible is difficult because it requires authenticity and sincerity and vulnerability. But what it offers is invaluable. When you believe that the change you want to see is achievable, you begin to see innumerable paths you didn't before. In describing Tony Eagleton's book, Hope Without Optimism, essayist Megan Adams says optimism is the naive belief that things will get better. Hope is the projection of self into a discernible future, even if that future is illusory. It provides a drive and an architecture for change. Optimism belongs to the elites. Hope is the political catalyst for the rest of us. I didn't begin to cultivate hope as a skill until finding the American Studies department. I didn't even know what American Studies was until my sophomore year, and it was so foreign to me at first. I came into college wanting to go into political science, and my first 2 years of college consisted of a lot of what I'll call centrist saviorism. I was taught that making good policy meant finding a middle ground, or in other words, hiding behind terms like peace and civility as a means of doing nothing. However, when I met with Dr. Ali to discuss the major, I was stunned to hear a professor talk so candidly about his political and social beliefs, which I was shocked to find were pretty similar to my own. And it's not just their values that I admire. It's the way that every American Studies professor communicates with and treats students. They make you feel like all of the things you so deeply believe in maybe aren't naive, and that no, you're not crazy or even radical for valuing human life over human well-being over profit or property or the status quo. This is when I realized that growing up, graduating college, finding a job, and being successful does not mean losing my sense of hope or my faith that a better world exists. As education continues to prioritize shareholders over students, there are still professors here in this crowd who I know would put their careers on the line to protect students' right to speech. Meeting and working with these educators showed me that no matter how dark your circumstances appear, there will and always have been people you can turn to. People that didn't give up when they were told to, and people who will help you to nurture your own conviction. It's for these reasons that I'll be forever grateful to our American Studies department, the professors, the faculty, and definitely the students. I've had the pleasure of spending a lot of time with my graduating class as we've worked on our capstone projects, and I'll never stop being amazed by the ideas they have and the research they're doing. I'll finish with advice from our own Kermit the Frog, which I know is also cheesy, but I can't help myself. He says, "We don't see things as they are, we see them as we are." As long as you continue to approach life with hope, which I know is no easy task, especially today, your world will open up while the cynics will wither. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sophie, for that fantastic speech, and I think it was way better than Kermit. My name's Alexis Lothian. I'm the Director of Graduate Studies in the Harriet Tubman Department of Women, Gender, and Sexuality Studies. I'm here with great honor and great pleasure to announce our graduate commencement speaker for 2025, Rahma Abdiyari Haji. Last month, Dr. Haji defended her beautiful dissertation, Palimpsestic Blackness, Memes, Aesthetics, and Relation. You can read the abstract in your program, but let me tell you why I think her work is so important. Dr. Haji studies memes, the images, videos, and sounds that circulate through our communication online, in texts, group chats, and social media. She understands the meme as a site where blackness circulates as a feeling, where shared feeling creates networks of relationality. Some of you may be familiar with critiques of meme circulation as digital blackface. While attending closely to these important concerns, Dr. Haji follows the meme in a different direction, refusing the all-too-common logic that separates digital media from analog histories and offline contexts. She tracks the aesthetics of the meme to Black artistic production. Analyses of the work of Adrian Piper and Arthur Jaffa ground her important work and point us in new directions for understanding not only the politics and culture of the ubiquitous Black meme, but how we relate to the world and each other through the work of looking, listening, reading, and feeling. I was lucky enough to teach Dr. Haji in her very first seminar in the department, where her interests in digital media and Black art were already settling into place. I vividly remember her presentation on Christina Sharp's In the Week, where she introduced me and the rest of the class to artist Lorna Simpson's work. Through the pandemic and other upheavals, Dr. Haji has continued to broaden and deepen this work, and to offer her many students new ways to understand their digital landscapes through her teaching. She has also participated in some literally grounded research through the Black Butterfly Urban Farmer Academy Fellowship in Baltimore. In this last year, Dr. Haji received a prestigious American Association for University Women Dissertation Fellowship. And in the fall, she will be continuing her work at Brown University, where she holds a Pembroke Center postdoctoral research fellowship. Congratulations, Dr. Haji, and the floor is yours.
Thank you, Dr. Lothian. Hi, everyone. The quality of light by which we scrutinize our lives has direct bearing upon the product which we live and upon the changes which we hope to bring about through those lives. It is within this light that we form those ideas by which we pursue our magic and make it realized. This is poetry as illumination, for it is through poetry that we give name to those ideas which are, until the poem, nameless and formless, about to be birthed but already felt. That distillation of experience from which true poetry springs births thought as dreams birth concept, as feeling births idea, as knowledge births precedes understanding. As we learn to bear the intimacy of scrutiny and to flourish within it, as we learn to use those products of that scrutiny for the power within our living, those fears which rule our lives and form our silences begin to lose their control over us. That is the beginning of Audre Lorde's essay, Poetry is Not a Luxury. I have at times assigned that essay to students at the beginning of the semester when we begin to just set the foundation for how we will go about the course. I find Lorde's essay to be grounding in considering the work we do as intellectuals, artists, and humans. Poetry, in the case of Lorde, I substitute with study, and in many ways, poetry names the work of study, which is a process of scrutinizing, and is largely the process by which our sense of perception as an embodied practice emanating from our body-mind comes to shape language. And at times, language falls a bit short. Lorde highlights both the embodied and sensorial experience of poetry while attending to the power embedded in naming. Apart from naming, there's a move towards an honest mode of living that means wrestling with noise, systemic and internal, so as to be able to cultivate our feelings and experience into a praxis. In this essay and in other ones, I love how she turns back to the word scrutiny, because for me, it conjures an image of wrestling with something over and over again. But also, etymologically, scrutiny comes from the Latin word scrutare, translating to search or to examine, which comes from the term scruta, which means trash. The imagery of one searching through trash calls up a few things for me, but the central one being in looking through a pile of trash, we're searching for something of value. Nonetheless, the work of cultivating our voice and sharing remains a central element of Lourdes Poetics, of which I attempt to not just practice as a pedagogue, but as a person moving through the world. The work of study is not direct nor linear. It is messy, uncomfortable, exciting, and heartbreaking. And in the case of study asked of us in these fields, American Studies and WGSS, it is often more than anything a way of shaping an ethics of inhabiting the world. Why are we here? Where do we want to go? What kind of world do we want to inhabit? And what does that look like? Study is speculative in as much as it is grounded in material conditions which we live, breathe, move, and exist, but also imagine how we want to exist beyond. And it's a we, not an I, in the sense that world building is a relational practice. We're here today to celebrate the occasion of graduating, and what a time to be emerging in the world. Congratulations, we did it. And while the world is burning, as it has been, depending on what schools of thought you position yourself with, it's still quite an accomplishment to be at this point. The work of study is not easy, and oftentimes it feels futile, as if there's something more pressing and significant. And at the same time, I am a child of immigrants, first-generation graduate, and the awareness of education as a significant process in inhabiting the world has always been omnipresent in my world. My father would often tell us, kula, soma, andika, which means eat, read, and write. And while there are many more verbs to include in there, like play, rest, relate, love, feel, etc., the weight of education holds strong. And in a moment where education is politicized, and again, depending on what schools of thought or frameworks, one can argue education has always been political, as the work of consciousness raising remains a central practice of feminist thought. It feels meaningful not to return to just the why of building worlds, but the how. Study allows us to inhabit, play, experiment, and hatch the possibilities of what our lives and worlds would look like when we center feminist ethics around relation, care, and work. And while study maps the tools for how we do the work, it is not all there is to activating a praxis. And so perhaps with returning back to the maps we have from Lord and many more other remarkable intellects and poets, we might fashion something different. I want to conclude with a note of gratitude. Thank you to the incredible Thank you to the incredible pedagogical insight from the professors, the work of program managers who keep the program running day to day, and to our families, friends, children, and animal companions for much care and support throughout the program as life unfolds within it and beyond it. Even as I am here standing before you, what is not visible are the many people here and not here who have made it possible for me and for us to be standing here. And we don't exist outside of community and communities. While this is an accomplishment we hold dear, it holds something more for those who have shaped us. But really, we did that. Congratulations. I hope you celebrate this incredible achievement, get some rest, play, and go out into the world. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much, Sophie, and soon to be Dr. Hazi. Yes. All right. I'd like to call to the podium again Dr. Ali as we prepare for the candidates for the degree of Bachelor's of Arts in American Studies. Would you rise and please come forward? Candidates for the degree of Bachelor of Arts in American Studies, please rise and come forward.
As the candidates come forward, I'd like to remind everyone that you are welcome and encouraged to cheer for your graduates, and graduates, wherever they're back here. And graduates, as you walk across the stage, you too are welcome and encouraged to cheer and celebrate yourselves and, of course, to exercise your First Amendment rights in whichever way you see fit. Tasneem Alim. James Cho. Jasmine Hall. Kat Ackerman. Emily Doggett. Taylor Twellman and Rosen Reese. Sophie Garcia.
Okay. Professor Mirabal? Professor Mirabal will present accolades to the U.S. Latino Studies Program minors.
So, good afternoon. I am Dr. Nancy Raquel Mirabal, the director of the U.S. Latino Studies program, and it is a pleasure to recognize the graduates of the USLT minor. The minor, the first in the DMV area, was established in 2008 as a result of faculty, staff, and student activism. Since then, the minor has grown exponentially, graduating hundreds of students in Latinx studies. Today, we have a program with 3 full-time faculty, myself, Dr. Perla Guerrero, and Dr. Robert Chester. On May 18th, we celebrated our minors at the Latinx graduation with the USLT certificate, sash, and bag. The names of the 15 minors are in your program. And I say that because our minors are not here today. They've already celebrated. But please join me in congratulating our U.S. Latino and Latino Studies minor. Thank you.
Dr. Tanasowski.
Dr. Neela Huja, the Director of Undergraduate Studies, will now present the students receiving undergraduate degrees from the Harriet Tubman Department of Women, Gender, and Sexuality Studies.
Will the candidates for degrees in Women, Gender, and Sexuality Studies, Black Women's Studies, and LGBTQ Studies please rise and come forward? Ross Sawalowski. Holland Schmitz. Ashley Eliana Llerena Pazmiño. Sequoia Smallwood. Andy Zakiris. Camille Oriolua Fabi. Caroline Dana Sillerberg. Brandy Hunter Kaplan.
Dr. Ali will now come forward to announce the winners of the American Studies Student Awards.
Our first award is the Outstanding Undergraduate Student Award. This award goes to the graduating senior who maintains the highest grade point average during her career at the University of Maryland. I'm pleased to announce, excuse me, I get really choked up about awards. I'm pleased to announce that the winner of the Outstanding Student Award is Tasneem Allen. Tasneem is graduating with a Bachelor of Arts degree in American Studies as well as a Bachelor of Arts degree in Public Policy. And she's right behind me. You can stay there for a minute. We're not done yet. Our second award is the American Studies Service Award. This award goes to the graduating senior whose undergraduate career best exemplifies a strong record of service to the campus and the broader community. The winner of this year's Service Award is Tasneem Allen. And I'm not done talking about her yet. Tasneem, but it's okay. You can sit down. Tasneem has an impressive record of service. To name just a few of her activities, she interned at Vikara Village, where she supported the provision of mental health resources to vulnerable populations. She was an advocacy communications intern for the group Maryland Nonprofits. Here on campus, she served on the Honors Humanities Curriculum Redesign Committee. She interned at the Nature Conservancy, an environmental nonprofit organization that, as Tasneem says, centers equity as we serve Maryland's communities by conserving the lands and waters on which all life depends. And, most recently, she's completed her senior thesis entitled Feels on Wheels: Cars and Queer Possibility in American Popular Culture. Again, congratulations, Tasneem. I now welcome to the lectern Dr. Robert Chester to present the Distinguished Honors Thesis Award.
Hello. I am delighted to tell you that the winner of this year's prize for the Outstanding Honours Thesis in American Studies is James Cho. For his brilliant study of the role that popular culture, in this case video games, plays in the creation and dissemination of ideas about identity and history, shaping as they do so understandings of the US past and its significance. James' thesis, entitled Playing Indigenous History in Assassin's Creed, examines the 2012 Ubisoft release Assassin's Creed 3, bringing into conversation theories drawn from Indigenous studies and media studies. With a little guidance from me, his thesis chair, mostly to do with overly long sentence structure, and the tremendous input of committee member Dr. Bailey Marquez, James has constructed a sophisticated thesis which exposes that while this game, played by millions, appears on the surface to be a sympathetic representation of Native Americans, you play with a Mohawk protagonist, mixed-race Mohawk protagonist, it actually reproduces ideas that encourage players to consider the conquest of native cultures by white settlers as something that was both inevitable and in many instances conducted out of good intentions or necessity. James' research and analysis are truly outstanding among the many undergraduates I've known in my 20 years plus at UMD, and he is a total pleasure to work with, as diligent, thoughtful, and genuine a student as one could hope for. On top of that, he is well liked by everyone who knows him, a fine thesis and a lovely young man. I can think of no more deserving recipient of this recognition. Well done, James.
Hello, so I have the honor of recognizing this year's Senior Paper Award. So for the past 9 months, Jasmine Hall has been on a culinary journey, not sampling savory street foods or recreating Insta-worthy delicacies, but immersing herself in Food Network programming. Her research explores the mid-2000s shift in content on the Food Network channel, identifying a transition from traditional instructional programming like Barefoot Contessa to competition-centric shows that now define the network. In exploring this change, Jasmine asked, how does the Food Network's change in content in the mid-2000s signify a shift in the American dream? Using critical media studies research methods, including an exclusive interview with Dave Knoll, the creator and executive producer of Chopped, Jasmine's thesis shows how the Food Network's shift to competition-based shows came on the heels of the 2008 financial crisis and promoted more conservative ideas of success while trying to attract a decidedly male viewership. In turn, Jasmine argues that female chefs and network stars responded by subversively challenging traditional gender stereotypes, playing the roles of loving home cooks and entertainers while making savvy business decisions and building their own culinary empires. Ultimately, this thesis, done with zest, yes, and creativity, offers a rich study of the complexities of media, American cultural values, economic aspirations, and gender dynamics in times of social change. Congratulations, Jasmine. Please come forward. I now welcome back to the podium Dr. Neil Ahuja, who will announce the WGSS Undergraduate Awards.
The Harriet Tubman Department of Women, Gender, and Sexuality Studies presents awards to undergraduate students who have stood out in their service, engagement, or academic achievement in the department and campus community. As your name is called, we ask that the award winners come to the front and receive their award certificate and a small token of congratulations from Dr. Atanasoski. So first, the Outstanding WGSS Major Award goes to two students, Natasha Lubar and Andy Sikierses. Natasha has been an outstanding student in academics as a WGSS major and pre-med student. She was always engaged with the work and community of the department and received cum laude Latin honors when graduating in December of 2024. Unfortunately, she couldn't be in attendance today, so let's give her a round of applause in absentia. Andy is with us today, and Andy is a double major in WGSS and English, receiving magna cum laude Latin honors, and he's recognized today for his commitment to classroom conversations, strong research, and contributions as a WGSS undergraduate teaching assistant. Congratulations. The award for Outstanding WGSS Certificate Student goes to Ashley Llerena. Ashley is being recognized for her work as a WGSS undergraduate teaching assistant, her leadership in the classroom, and involvement in the department. Congratulations. The award for Outstanding Black Women's Studies student goes to December graduate Brooke Mengistu for her strong performance in the minor and for a research project on Harriet Tubman. And is Brooke here? Hi. And our final set of awards is for the Outstanding LGBTQ Studies student, and this goes to two students this year, Leo Osai and Morgan Spalding. Leo and Morgan could not join us today, but we want to recognize that Leo has displayed academic excellence and a commitment to departmental community, participating in Harriet Tubman Day and our Queer Studies reading group in the department. And Morgan, who was a graduate in the December graduation, made a strong impression through engagement with LGBTQ Studies coursework. Please, let's give them a round of applause.
I am pleased to call to the podium Dr. Bailey Marquez, the Director of Graduate Studies, who will present the students who are receiving master's degrees in American Studies.
Hello, everyone. I am incredibly pleased to present the students receiving the Master of Arts degree, the MA in American Studies. Will those who are receiving the MA in American Studies please rise and come forward? Melody Jackson. We also have two master's students that cannot be here with us today, so let's please honor them. Alice Maria Santana. And Kristen Washington. I am now pleased to present the students receiving the Doctor of Philosophy degree, the PhD in American Studies. Descriptions of their dissertations are in your programs. First, we would like to congratulate Dr. Jacqueline Beatriz Partida, a 2025 graduate whose dissertation is titled Illegal, the Racial Politics of Undocumented Mexican Immigration in California, 1970 to 1999. Dr. Partida will be hooded by her advisor, Dr. Nancy Raquel Mirabal. Our next graduate is Dr. Mark Ray Lockwood, Jr. Mark is a 2025 graduate whose dissertation is titled Black Inches, Masculinity, Visuality, and Performance in the Latino Porn Era. Dr. Lockwood will be hooded by his advisor, Dr. Lamar Jarrell Bruce. It's now my pleasure and honor to present the Bodie Wise Outstanding Dissertation Prize from the Department of American Studies for 2025. The prize is named for the late Carl Bodie, who was an author and professor of English at the University of Maryland and founder of the National American Studies Association. It is also named for Jean Wise, author of Paradigm Dramas in American Studies, A Cultural and Institutional History of the Movement, and former faculty member of our department. The awardee cannot be here today, but we are awarding the 2025 Bodie Wise Prize to Dr. Dallas Taylor Donnell. Dr. Donnell's dissertation was titled The Black Nightmare Imaginary, Popular Music, Collective Trauma, and the Intransigence of Anti-Black Violence. You can read about Dr. Donnell's dissertation in your program books. Thank you so much.
I'd now like to welcome back to the podium Dr. Alexis Lothian, Director of Graduate Studies, who will present the students who are receiving graduate degrees in Women, Gender, and Sexuality Studies.
Thank you. As so many people have said, these are uncertain and often scary times to be starting a career. But the work of our doctoral, certificate, and master's graduates in women, gender, and sexuality studies is here to help us chart a path toward the individual and collective growth and transformation we will need to maintain our commitments to equity, justice, and care through these difficult times, always difficult times, and to emerge into new and more possible futures, to paraphrase Audre Lorde, who Rachma already quoted today. These graduates have worked long and hard to arrive here today, dedicating years of their lives to studying the operation of structures of power in culture and society, assuring that the long histories of feminist, anti-racist, queer, trans, and disability justice work through activist struggle and creative practice do not go forgotten, and crafting the theories and narratives we need to be able to carry these movements forward. So I will first invite the graduates from the Graduate Certificate in Women, Gender, and Sexuality Studies. So students from across UMD are able to secure the certificate in Women, Gender, and Sexuality Studies while enrolled in their graduate degree program of study. So I'm pleased to welcome to the stage our graduate certificate recipients in Women, Gender, and Sexuality Studies. Christopher Perzal. Though they're not here today, I hope you'll join me in congratulating Elizabeth May Dinany and Elisa Denise Hardy. Please give them a round of applause for their hard work. I'm now pleased to invite the students receiving the Master of Arts degree in Women, Gender, and Sexuality Studies to come to the stage. These are all students who are receiving their Master's while en route to the PhD. Aisha Matthews. Rebecca Simcha Otto. Chand. And please also join me in offering congratulations to Montia Brianne Daniels, Jordan Hale Kiesler, and Caitlin Leach, who are also receiving their Masters en route to the PhD. Please give them a round of applause for their hard work. I am now pleased to present the students receiving PhD degrees in Women, Gender, and Sexuality Studies. Please come up to the stage. Descriptions of the dissertations are in your program.
Should I go ahead? I now call Adriana D. Natiel. Okay, great. Adriana D. Natiel, whose dissertation is entitled Carnal Knowledge, Black Women, Moral Panics, and Sex Education Policy. And Adriana will be hooded by her advisor, Dr. Alexis Lothian. Oh yes, that's next. Dr. Lothian co-advised the dissertation with our former faculty member, Dr. Yvonne Ramos, now of Brown University, who cannot be here today.
now call Rahma Abdiyara Haji. Rahma's dissertation is titled Palimpsestic Blackness, Memes, Aesthetics, and Relation, and she is being hooded by her advisor, Dr. Jershan Avilas. Aw. I now call Jocelyn Mary Coates. Jocelyn's dissertation is titled Dark Surveillance, Queer Intimacies and Sensorial Registers of Black-White Interraciality, and she's being hooded by her advisor, Dr. Michelle V. Rowley. Now, Now, before we hear the closing remarks from Dr. Williams-Forson, I would like to invite my colleague, Dr. Christina Hanhart, to the podium to make an announcement.
Congratulations to the class of 2025. Please forgive this brief interruption. But before Dr. Williams-Forson begins her closing remarks celebrating all of your accomplishments, I'd like to acknowledge a significant one of her own. As the Dean described earlier, for the past 10 years, Dr. Williams-Forson has served as the chair of the Department of American Studies. During these years, we saw the successful graduation of exciting cohorts of students like all of you, the expansion and promotion of our faculty ranks, including during the challenging years of COVID lockdowns and a shifting landscape for higher education. During this time, Dr. Williams-Forson also published the award-winning book, Eating While Black, Food Shaming and Race in America, and co-founded the Mellon-funded Leadership Training Institute, Breaking the Mold. This is but a very small sample of Dr. Williams-Forson's many accomplishments, and she is now off to a long overdue sabbatical. On behalf of the faculty and staff of the Department of American Studies, I extend our congratulations and thanks.
Stay close. Stay close. No, stay close. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Hanhart, for this, and to the Department of American Studies for this surprise. And I just want to share, that's why I wanted her to stay close. This is our incoming chair, Dr. Christina Hanhart. And I am certain that she will build on the many legacies of our unit and take us to even greater heights and further cement our legacy, not only in the academy, but well beyond the walls of the ivory tower. So as I close this afternoon, my last, as you've heard, in the 10-year span of giving closing comments, I want to acknowledge that this is a year of transitions, right? A lot of transitions. Several of us on the podium saw our loved ones, our parents, cross over into eternity. including me, my father, who passed away in February, which was one of the hardest experiences ever, right? Losing a loved one. But I'm not here to dull your shine. I'm here to talk about the transitions of life. Because one thing you can be sure of is that change will come, right? Change is going to come. You're in the midst of change right now. But there are a couple of things my dad left with me, and one of them is about speaking out. He was unapologetic, as he was a leader in the desegregation case in Brown v. Board of Topeka, Kansas, or education as you may know it, in that he helped to mobilize the walkout that happened in Farmville, Virginia, Prince Edward County, which was the last county to join that lawsuit. So he taught us a lot about speaking out. And one of the things I learned from him is that while it's absolutely important to do so, it's also important to think about when, where, and how. In 2017, just 2 short years after I assumed leadership of the department, Lieutenant Richard Collins, a Bowie State University student, was senselessly killed on our campus by another student who aligned himself with white supremacy. At that time, during commencement, I read, and I'm quoting, "This morning, as many of us started out on this celebratory walk, the clouds opened over campus, making it more difficult for graduates and their families to experience graduation the way that we should. The clouds began to form, however, in the midnight hours of Sunday morning when the incomprehensible thing occurred on our campus. As I depart my role as chair of my beloved department, I again share similar sentiments, but while I said then it was a situation for which we can never prepare, I say the same thing again today, but with pause. Because we were told over and over, and we could have prepared, but here we are. We were asked to have a moment of silence back then, and we in American Studies decided to ask instead that you remember. We ask the same today, except I'm going to ask you to remember why you chose American Studies, why you chose U.S. Latina Studies, why you chose Women, Gender, Sexuality Studies, Material Culture, and Museum Studies. Don't think for one moment that there is not still time to change the world, because life is nothing if not change. I want to share with you very quickly the voice of a civil rights movement singer with songs like "To Be Young, Gifted, and Black" and "Mississippi Goddamn." The latter a visceral response to the 1963 killings of Medgar Evers in Jackson, Mississippi, and 4 girls in a church bombing in Birmingham, Alabama. Here's what was said of her outspokenness. Nina Simone paid a major price. According to one article or documentary, she describes how Simone never gained the kind of celebrity that she deserved. At least one article states, and I'm quoting, "Radio stations refused to play her music. Venues were hesitant to book her. They feared she would again speak her mind on stage and mince no words in lashing out against injustice and discrimination." End quote. Who knew? But for her outspokenness in exercising her principles, she might have gained the greatness and fame of some of her peers. My dad told me it's when you speak, how you speak, and where you speak. You might pay a price. That doesn't mean you shouldn't speak. So I'm going to ask you to remember and to act. In remembering how you overcame to get to this moment, I want you to remember that injustice and inequity cannot be allowed to persist no matter what, when, where, or how. I want you to remember that what you hold in your hand when you finally receive your degree in the mail is a new hope, a new vigor, a new determination, a new opportunity to remember. To remember what you have learned in your many, many courses in American Studies, USLT, and Women's Studies. I want you to remember your silence will not protect you. In the words of African-American feminist lesbian activist Audre Lorde, it will not protect you, but that doesn't mean you shouldn't speak. I also want you to remember the times you wanted to quit and didn't, the times you wanted to give up and didn't. And I want you to remember that you were here for such a time as this because you have work to do in this world. There are a lot of other things that I want you to remember, but mostly I want you to remember this day as we gather here to celebrate you, to remember it's not only just about you. And if I have to explain that to you, then you should probably get off the gram and find a reliable news source. I want you to gather up and let your opposition be heard against such crimes at Maryland and elsewhere, because until one of us is free, none of us is free. Today we honor you, but we do not honor you just for tomorrow, for what you will do and what you will accomplish, but for today. We honor your toil, we honor your sweat, we honor your tears, and I know many of you had tears, all of which is evidence etched in history forever in time as proof of what you are capable of doing. And with that evidence, we honor you today, knowing what you can do and must do to affect change in this place, this locale, this state, this nation, this universe. Go forward and gather up. Know 2025 graduating classes of American Studies, USLT, and Women, Gender, Sexuality Studies, that the struggle continues. Nonetheless, as my dad would say, you should still produce your thoughts. And then lastly, I leave you with the words of Nina Simone so that you remember to say them as often as you may need. Stars, when you shine, you know how I feel. Scent of the pine, you know how I feel. Oh, freedom is mine, and I know how I feel. It's a new dawn. It's a new day. It's a new life for me and for you, and I hope today you're feeling good. Walk gently and boldly and continue to congratulate yourselves. And now you may stand as you are able. Graduates, please stand. Move your tassels from the right to the left to signify the conferral of your degrees. Congratulations. As we process, congratulations. No, you can just, remove the, it's okay. As we process out of the chapel, we'll lead the faculty off the podium first, and then students from the front row, first row, please follow row by row. Everyone else, please stay seated until all our graduates have left the chapel. Thank you for joining us today. Congratulations again, and I hope you continue to feel good.